The year is 2008, The Dark Knight release, Katy Perry kissed a girl, and Twilight had millions of teenage girls on a chokehold. Most importantly, social media and online spaces began to consolidate and take form. Sites like MySpace, Tumblr, Facebook became places for teens to exist. Basically, people started to look for their identity, meet new people, and form communities, especially alt communities. Most importantly for today's video, the emo subculture. The emo subculture deviates from hardcore punk, incorporating more personal, emotional lyrics. This music evolved throughout the 1990s with more melodic Midwest emo scene, eventually leading to a mainstream subculture in the 2000s, characterized by a specific fashion, social media use, and a shared melancholic worldview. Meanwhile, punk rock began taking shape in the early 1970s. Rooted in the underground music scenes of New York City and London, it was a reaction against the polished, elaborate productions that dominated the mainstream music industry. Bands and fans alike saw a return to the basics: short, fast, and loud songs that spoke to the frustrations and aspirations of a disillusioned youth. Punk political ideologies are mostly concerned with individual freedom and anti-establishment views. Common punk viewpoints include anti-capitalism, individual liberty, and not selling out. So why on earth would two subcultures that share roots gather in one of the most popular runabouts in Mexico City to beat each other up? Well, it was actually mostly the punks' fault. They criticized emos for copying their styles, lacking authenticity, and worrying that with the growing presence, they will take up all the space from alt communities, especially since they were more marketed towards including in music and fast fashion. Which is fair enough. It's true that a lot of people just join for the aesthetic and the more fun part of it, without giving a shit about the ideology of the subculture or of being alt in general. But it's also true that most of these people were teens. Teens that struggle with finding their identity and place in the world. Teens who were maybe bullied or just felt lonely. They found happiness and a sense of belonging in this community, alongside a genuine love for the fashion and music. So imagine these kids dealing with being alt in a quite religious homophobic country where their grandma probably screamed whenever she saw them. Then going outside to interact with people like you, then some dicks come, insult you, beat you up, and cut up your bangs. Yikes. This type of violence is what would impulse emos to make a protest that was organized by MySpace in La Glorieta de los Insurgentes on March 16, 2008. It started as a pacific protest, but it quickly escalated to insults and punches for hours. 100 elements of police force showed up and they couldn't stop it. They couldn't de-escalate the fight, but you know who did? I'll give you a little second to think who stopped an hours-long violent fight that 100 police units couldn't. The fucking Hare Krishna! A Pacific Hindu group stopped this hours-long violent fight. Now, to be fair, by this time a lot of people probably had left and everyone was just tired, but it's just hilarious nonetheless. And that's the story of punks versus emos, a legendary battle that will go down history books, and La Glorieta de los Insurgentes will pass to also be known as the runabout of the three subcultures. Which is kinda sad. Once again, even if the punks had very valid criticism towards emos, that's not a reason to beat up a guy whose worst crime was to buy a Hot Topic and look a bit feminine. Because, of course, it can be the early 2000s without homophobia being involved. To this day, there's still a lot of people in these communities that yell poser for the most minimal thing, as if it is a hate crime that someone doesn't straighten their hair, and whether they're right or not, it's just exhausting. On TikTok, at least, it's just a constant fight of, I'm more special and weird, and all you do is wrong. So I want you dead. So I'm glad that we can look back at this moment with fondness, because to be honest, it is hilarious, and luckily, no one was severely hurt. Don't let assholes on the internet scare you off expressing yourself through fashion, and most importantly, your beliefs. Maybe a certain subculture isn't for you, and that's okay. You don't need a label to be alt. There is a lot of cool people out there that will help you and encourage you in your journey. Take care, and I'll see you next time.